we have a huge opportunity with the past pandemic to regain, to reinvent, as I said, the public transit. We have a huge opportunity and the window is very tight. We have to go now.
This is Transit Unplugged. I'm Paul Comfort. Good to be with you on another edition of the world's leading transit executive podcast, Transit Unplugged In-Depth this week with Renée Amilcar, who is General Manager of OC Transpo in Ottawa and the incoming President of UITP. Renée, it's great to be with you.
Thank you very much, Paul. My pleasure.
Yeah, we are here recording live at the UITP Summit in Barcelona. How has the conference been for you so far?
So far, so good. Absolutely, and it's crowded. The Barcelona is a nice city. It's awesome.
Yes, and tomorrow you take office as the president. So tell me about that.
I'm so proud to be the first woman being elected as the president of UITP after 140 years old.
Wow.
So it's amazing. It's incredible, and I'm very, very happy to be able to collaborate with my peers around the world.
And I'm very excited that you're from North America. Aren't you the first North American president, too, of UITP?
Indeed.
Yes, so you're making a lot of history tomorrow when you take office.
I know.
Very exciting. Yeah, this has been a wonderful conference, and I'm so happy to get to meet you and to talk to you some today about your past and what you're doing now and where you're going in the future. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself? Where do you come from and how long you've had this job, et cetera?
So I come from Haiti, and when I was 11 years old, my parents and I came in Montreal, Canada. I did my studied there, and I'm an engineer from École Polytechnique de Montréal. I have a Master Business Administration from École Sherbrooke, Université de Sherbrooke. I started my career in aeronautic, but all of my main career is in public transit.
Okay.
So I first started with STM, Société Transport de Montréal, where I spent 19 years. And now, since 20 months, I have been working for OC Transpo, and I have an amazing team. I'm enjoying myself. I have a lot of good challenges, and it's very, 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 it's nice.
Yeah, it should be. That's awesome. So Ottawa is the capital city, right, of Canada?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so does that come with special things because you've got the capital there and the prime minister, and that's pretty exciting too.
Oh yeah, a lot of security, a lot of people who can come and complain. We had those trucks, as you know.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good experience to be able to work in Ottawa. Ottawa is so beautiful, and there are so many people, a lot of tourists as well. So it's very, very important to have this kind of vibe, you know, and I really appreciate that.
So tell us some about your public transit system, buses, trains, all that. Kind of describe what you have there.
Sure. So at OC Transpo in Ottawa, we have approximately 750 buses. There are diesel buses, but we're happy to transform our fleet. It will be electric buses soon. And we have a light rail as well, so and a huge transformation of the Ottawa. And we have parabuses for people with disabilities.
That's wonderful. So you're moving from electric buses to extending. What is your O-train system? Is that your rail system?
Yeah, exactly. So we have the Confederation line that we call the O-train. This is a 12.5 kilometers actually, but we are doing a huge expansion of the system, and in east, on west, and south as well.
So in 2019, Ottawa's O-train network had 20.5 kilometers of rail. In the coming years, you'll be tripling the total length by adding 44 kilometers of rail with your Stage 2 project. Can you tell us more about the growth in your O-train network?
So the Stage 2 light rail is a $4.7 billion project, and it's funded by the Government of Canada, the Province of Ontario, and the City of Ottawa. When complete, the Stage 2 will bring 77% of Ottawa residents with 5 kilometers of rail. So it's very huge, with 24,000 people per junction per hour during the peak hour. So we are very, very excited with that.
So you've got, and you said you're moving to electric buses?
Exactly.
How is that going?
So far, so good. Seriously, so far, so good. We had the 4 pilots, and they perform very, very well. We're very happy for. And those are new Flyers buses.
Okay.
And we cannot wait to continue, and to be able to achieve our goal by having 100% of our electric fleet by 2036.
How are they handling your harsh winters there? Because it does get kind of rough in the winter in Ottawa, right?
Yeah, and fortunately, they're doing very well. And we had the opportunity to test them without passengers from December 2021 to February 2022. Since that time, we are running very continuously with people on board, with freezing rain, with snow, and everything is so far so good. We have many KPIs that we gathered, and they are excellent. They are surpass our objectives. So that's why we have took the decision to move forward with this kind of technology.
Okay. So you've got electric buses, you're extending the O-train system further south and east and west. You're basically, sounds like you're going and undergoing a massive transit transformation. What are you most excited about?
It's to be able to deliver good service to our customers. My raison d'être is that, and customers well deserve that. And with this huge transformation, I think it will achieve our goal.
OC Transpo is making it more convenient for customers to pay for their fares with the expansion of credit card and mobile wallet payment across the transit network later this year. I'm really excited about that. I was up in Western Canada a couple months ago and visited with Kevin Quinn at TransLink, and they have all kinds of modes of payment. So that's really a way to kind of let more people have access to your network. Can you tell us more about this project of various fare payments?
Yes, again, to improve customer experience, OC Transpo is proactive on that. And customers will be able to pay by either credit cards or debit cards or mobile wallets. And they will be able to buy their tickets on our machine by those cards as well. And the Transpo, I started this new technology a month ago,
okay.
And it's a very, very nice experience. And regular customers will be able to start pretty soon. We'll announce something in a few days or a few weeks maximum. So we're very, very happy with that because it will augment the customer experience, as I said, and it will be very good as well for tourism, not only for residents.
Sure, because tourists may just have a credit card, they don't have your pass, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Do you have a lot of tourism in Ottawa?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Most of people during the summertime. It's amazing. We have so many good things. We have the Canada Day. Well, it's always crowded for those days. And we have the Blues Fest, and we have a lot of festivals. So people come and enjoy Ottawa.
Yeah, and you do see, though, as we mentioned, some weather challenges that make getting around kind of difficult in the winter months. What has been your approach to dealing with severe winter weather?
A lot of things, because definitively it's a challenge to deal with, sometimes it could be 40 centimeters of snow or 5 millimeters of freezing rain in less than 1 hour.
Wow.
It's huge, So we first, we have to prepare before the winter time, everything, the heat heater. We have to make sure that the maintenance is done, etc. However, during when we expect a lot of snow, we'll assure that we have the crew required and they will be ready to come and do whatever they have to do, remove the snow. And even sometimes when we know that we'll have a lot of snow or we know that we'll have freezing rain, we'll want our trains during the whole night to make sure to avoid ice buildup. And we even put in place this winter, but we didn't have to implement to apply it, which is fortunate. It's a winter storm pilot where we will review the service, the way we give the service, to make sure that the service will be reliable. It will be less service than normal, but at least it will be reliable, and will remove most of our articulated buses that unfortunately we know that they will stuck on the snow.
Oh, right.
So we'll put our 40-foot buses or the double deckers, and we didn't have to apply it this winter, but we are ready for next winter.
Coming out of the COVID pandemic, I know a lot of transit systems saw their ridership decline. Have you started to see that come back up, your ridership now out of the pandemic?
Very slowly, unfortunately. Now we are about 65%, and we think that we should achieve 70% because we're waiting on the federal workers. They're not back.
They're not back in the office yet?
No, unfortunately. But we know, I have been told that probably they will come back 2 days per per week.
Oh, right.
So we are waiting for that, and with that we should.
Oh, that'll increase.
Yes, yeah, but definitively. But on the bus side, we're not that bad. We are very good on the bus. It's the train, but the train brings people,
from
downtown.
the suburbs into the city.
Exactly. So those people are working at home, so that's why.
I was talking to Mohammed Mezgani this week, the Secretary General of UITP, and I think we're seeing that all over the world, aren't we? They're calling it the 3-day city.
Yes.
Because people are going downtown Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but working from home Mondays and Fridays. Are you seeing that there as well?
Definitively, it's the same pattern. And another thing is now we need more buses during the weekend because people go out during the weekend.
Yes.
So this is another thing, and that brings a challenge with the recruitment because our bus drivers, they don't want to work during the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
That's their time off, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Are you working on any like new technologies like autonomous vehicles or any other kind of new technology there?
So actually, one of the things that we are trying to put in place is the on-demand service because with the ridership, with the lower ridership, we want to continue to deliver service to our customers who are still with us. However, because there are not a lot, so it's not good to put huge buses with 4, 5, 10 people.
You don't need a 40-foot bus for 5 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will probably try to put that on service this fall. And another thing for sure, we'll launch our train line on north-south this fall as well. And we're working on our electric buses. So it's a lot for us. It's a lot for Transpo with 3,000 employees, but it's huge, but it's small. It's a small team at the same time. And the autonomous vehicle, we think about it, but we're not on it actually.
Okay,
exactly, yeah.
How about your financing? A lot of transit systems have lost a lot of revenue because ridership has gone down. How's your financing coming?
It's the same for us, unfortunately, and we rely a lot on the province or federal to help us for the COVID. And actually, I have a shortfall of 29 million, which is huge.
Yeah.
And for 2024, I just started to prepare my budget, and I will need some help for sure, definitively.
One thing I was excited about during the pandemic was to see the federal government in Canada, for the first time ever, give operating dollars, not just capital dollars. So thank you, Justin, Prime Minister, for that.
You.
Yeah, and it was matching whatever the province would give, right?
Exactly.
Is the federal government continuing, or like in the U.S., that stopped? They're not giving out all that extra money. What's happening in Canada?
For COVID-19, this year we didn't hear anything, unfortunately, but we continue to advocate, to try to have something.
Our friend Marco D'Angelo Cuda is helping do that, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's here, by the way, in Barcelona.
Good.
Yeah.
So you continue to push for that. Is your province, do you think, so are you like part of the city government? Ottawa is your transit system there?
Yeah, transit in Ottawa is included in Cities of Ottawa. So we are part of the city. So the city will help us, but for sure we need the provincial, we need the federal as well, and we depend on our revenue service based on the ticket,
Right.
So as you said, with the ridership, we lost a lot of revenue, and we have to reinvent the transit in Ottawa to be able to continue to deliver the service with a lower cost.
Right.
But increasing the service with light rail, with electric buses, we will need some help for sure from the government.
How about drivers, operators? A lot of systems have had trouble recruiting and retaining operators. How about in Ottawa?
Yeah, it was the same thing. And last year with my team, we decided to put in place a huge campaign of recruitment, and we succeed very well. So last year we hired 290 bus drivers.
Oh, wonderful.
And this year we have to hire 500 people, but most of them are bus drivers as well. And so far, so good now.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Let's talk about your role at UITP for a little bit.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about? What is the job of the president of UITP? What will you be doing over the next 2 years?
Yeah, so I have been involved on UITP for 12 years now. And I rose every step. I'm so happy to be the first woman to be the president elected, actually, and tomorrow I will step in. So one of my goals, for sure, it's how we can better work together around the world. There was a lot of organization. We want to work with them, not against them, for sure. And for sure, we will need to find how we can better help transit to operate, because the finance is an issue, right? The recruitment is an issue as well. So we can share together a lot of good ideas. And the UITP is there to make the rules in place for the transit. And we are very well known for the benchmarking as well, because
That's right.
we have peers that we can call. Myself, I can call someone in 2 minutes and I will have a good answer. So it's a very, very, very important organization. And more than ever, I think it's UITP has its place, and I will have this opportunity to work around the world with my peers, with my colleagues, and to be able to see what we can do for sustainable transit.
Yes, you're going to have a wonderful experience, I know. Two of the things that I really appreciate about UITP that I've experienced is the training that they offer,
Yep.
and also the studies. I work with an organization called the North American Transit Alliance, which represents big contractors like TransDev and Keolis, National Express, RETP Dev, and MV Transportation. And they did a study on contracting in Europe for us last year and compared it to what's happening in North America. On the training side, you told me a funny story early about that's kind of how you got your start, right? Mohammed was an instructor in a class that you took, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I just started in 2010, I decided to take a training session, and Mohammed was my teacher, and now I'm his boss.
It's the circle of life, right?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, he transferred me his passion definitively, and I think that's why I love so much UITP, and I love the public transit, and UITP and public transit. It's my art.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a minute, because I think you and I share that passion along with Mohammed and so many other thousands of people that work in this industry. And Renee, what I've seen, and you tell me if you've seen this, during the pandemic, it felt like it was a moment for people to reflect on what is the real role of public transportation.
Yes.
Up until then, it's largely around the world been, let's say for the last 20 years, about commuters coming into the cities from the suburbs. We were all focused on the peak periods of time.
Exactly.
And now those peaks have kind of modified, which has been great in some ways. My friend Jeremy Yap, who's very active in Singapore, told me that, Paul, it actually was good to reduce the peak of the peak because we're able to spread out our resources more. And also, so that's one kind of positive thing. The other thing is, I think cities have seen public transportation now more than about transferring people from A to B. It's more about sustainability. It's more about equity and inclusion. They can use public transit agencies to promote societal goals that promote all of us. What are your thoughts on that? And what is your passion about public transit?
Definitely. Public transit, it's a kind of life, and it's the way, it's the kind of good behavior that people should have. And public transit now, it's seen as maybe one of the solutions to save the planet as well, right?
Exactly.
And with those electric buses, very nice, and with a lot of equipment on board to help customers experience, I think people have started to just say, okay, maybe it's the solution, and this is our goal. We have to be able to attract them. We have to able to maintain them on our system as well. And that this is where UITP is good, because UITP can have this global view and transfer those needs to transit to our colleagues, to our members, etc.
Yes. Transit, to me, public transportation is mobility, and mobility is life. I mean, that's the definition of life, is the ability to move and to grow, right?
Yep.
And so public transportation in cities like Ottawa and other cities, Singapore, around the world, really, to me, was the antidote to COVID, because COVID meant lockdown, stay in place. Then once the restrictions are off, people want to get out and move, right? That's probably why we have so many people riding on weekends and nights now.
Yes.
They want to get out and enjoy their life.
Absolutely. And with people who are working at home, I think during the weekdays, during the weekends, they want to go out effectively to have some fun. So that's why, again, we have to reinvent public transit, because we have to adapt our offer to the new customers' behavior,
Yes.
And our capacity to adapt to that will be the key for transit, definitively.
Yeah. So let's look into the future. I want to get into your mind. So as we look into the future of what will happen over the 2 years while you're president of UITP, what do you envision for public transportation across the world? Give me your vision.
I would love if government could first invest, recurrently on public transit, definitively.
Yes. More investment from the federal government.
Yes, yeah. And not year by year. Let's have something that we can budget. We can have a goal together to bring something. And I hope less cars as well. And because buses, car sharing is okay now. It's not against us. It's a part of the mobility. Scooters, bicycle, etc., etc.
I love scooters and bikes personally. I ride them all the time.
Excellent. Yeah. So if we can, build a better MUP, multi-use pathway to make it attractive, I think it could be very, very great. So 2 years is it's close. Right? So it will be tomorrow. However, we have a huge opportunity with the past pandemic to regain, to reinvent, as I said, the public transit. We have a huge opportunity, and the window is very tight. We have to go now.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, you're really going to be the leader of public transit in the world in this role. So I'm excited about the passion you have and how you are going to be I think, a vocal proponent for all that we offer. Let's talk a little bit now more about your personal life. So tell me about your life, your family, what you do in Ottawa, your hobbies, those kind of things.
Okay, so first, born in Haiti, living in Montreal, working in Ottawa, married a Frenchman. So I'm a kind of a diverse person.
Yeah.
And I represent the UITP very well for that.
There you go, yeah.
Exactly. And I have my daughter, she's 21. She's studying at Concordia University on cell biology.
Cell biology?
Yeah. She's smart. She's a brain. And so because I'm working in Ottawa and I'm living in Montreal, so I miss them a lot. But I took that decision because it was a huge challenge when I received that call to come in Ottawa. And I spoke with my husband, with my daughter. So we have decided together that, okay, let's take the main house in Montreal where we're very well set. And so now I have an apartment in Ottawa, so I'm there during the weekday, and during the weekend I go at home sometimes. And sometimes it's my husband and my daughter who come
visit you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very exciting. It's a nice experience, and I really enjoy myself. And I like take a walk downtown of Ottawa along the canal. It's very nice, and there is something in Ottawa that you don't have anywhere else.
Yes, I believe that. Yeah. And do you have any other hobbies? You probably don't have time for hobbies. I know the job of a CEO can be very demanding, but do you have hobbies, things that you enjoy, reading, music, sports, whatever?
I really like walking and jogging. For sure, I don't have a lot of time to do so,
right.
But I like that. And I love having people around. So for me, a good dinner with friends, with a good wine, it's a kind of one of my best hobby that I like, really.
Yeah, you and me both. I love that. Yeah.
Because of that, we have to run, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Got to work it off. Yeah, that's great. And lastly, let's talk about Barcelona and a little bit about this conference since we're near the end of it. What has been some of the highlights for you out of the big summit we had here?
First, seeing this crowd, people here in Barcelona.
Thousands and thousands.
My goodness, it's huge. And people I didn't see anyone without a smile. And definitively, we have missed UITP and the summit. And now, here we go with beautiful Barcelona. It's a good way to restart.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited for Hamburg in a couple of years for the next one. It'll be great. This organization, what I've taken out of it, Renee, is I've been able to talk to a lot of the top executives. We've had some live events, et cetera. And I'm struck by the sense of optimism that our leaders have and the people that work in the industry. I believe we're at a moment where we're coming out of the pandemic. And as I said, I think mobility and this next 2 years with you kind of leading our organization, it's our opportunity to soar because we have now changed our position in society. And our role is actually a little higher. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and so heading out of here, what do you take in your heart back to Ottawa from our summit here?
Oh my goodness, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of new technology, and I'm glad to see that the same problem that we have to face with in Ottawa are around the world,
Yes.
So it will be good for me to bring those info to counselors, to tell them, hey, we're not alone. We are a lot who are dealing with that. And we have colleagues who will help us for sure.
That's wonderful. Well, Renée Amilcar, thank you so much for being our guest today on Transit Unplugged. We wish you the very best in your day job, but also in your bright new future as leader of UITP.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Mike Bismeyer, Transit and Kindness Advocate, and this is Mike's Minute, where we talk about mentorship, leadership, and kindness with the hopes it'll inspire you to pay it forward. It was great this week to hear Renée Amilcar, and congratulations again on her appointment as President of UITP. Again, reiterating the leadership in our country, our industry, and throughout North America. Many of our thought leaders and mentors parlay their skills and learnings well outside their agencies and organizations to a much wider and broader audience for the betterment of transit overall. I'd like to specifically speak on mentorship this week, which I've noted in many segments before, how important the mentors have been to me that I've had the honor of working alongside. Currently, I'm involved with the Young Emerging Leaders Task Force in Canada and the inaugural mentorship program. As part of this program, just this past week, my mentee and I presented at a local high school on the theme of considering transit as a career path, a small project we put together to try to change the perception of what transit is with youth and provide them a reason to consider it as a possibility for the future, hoping that this presentation would ultimately help them and ourselves with the long-term workforce recruitment challenges that we see within our industry. It was a great interaction, lots of participation, and the end result was many of the students commenting that they had just no idea of all the different opportunities there were within our industry. Prior to us presenting, they really thought transit as an operator. It was great to present to the students the different sides of the business, both from the business member side and the agency side. A great first result that we hope to carry on messaging to other schools. I can't help but get excited when there's an opportunity to talk transit to those who aren't in it. Many of us never thought we'd end up being in transit, and that was a message we were sure to share. The future of transportation is bright, and even brighter if just one of these future changemakers that we have the privilege to speak to will consider transportation as a career path in their future. If you'd like to hear more on our project or perhaps have an idea of a local school or organization that you think would be a great candidate for the message, feel free to reach out to me at any time on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Kindness is cool.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Transit Unplugged with our guest, Renée Amilcar, President of UITP and General Manager of OC Transpo in Ottawa, Ontario. Now, coming up next week, we have the first in a special two-part series on Canadian transport technology innovation. In part one, we have Margaret Cullen, Nicholas Sevelius, and Colin Lavery talking about everything innovative and new in Canadian tech. Let's hear a little bit from that interview.
And then perhaps the most powerful, I will say, but easy to forget, is the customer's change of perception and the new business models that comes with that. So, I mean, car sharing and bike sharing and shared micromobility is one example of people are thinking a bit differently on how they stitch their, travel patterns together. And I think that kind of public perception that customers change, those changes are very important.
If you have a question, comment, or would like to be a guest on the show, email us at info@transitunplugged.com. Transit Unplugged is brought to you by Modaxo. At Modaxo, we're passionate about moving the world's people. And at Transit Unplugged, we're passionate about telling those stories. So until next week, ride safe and ride happy.